That's okay. But for some of us, it is. Because there's absolutely, all of you, most of you in the business community probably have been at what we call in the States the financial closing table, when the deal gets done and the wire transfer happens. Does that make sense to you? I have to confess to you, there is nothing that makes the hair on my back go up, other than a Notre Dame football victory, go up when that happens. When I get notification of what, in the States it's called the wire hits, when the wire hits, my adrenaline just absolutely goes up. But I will also tell you that when you see a look on an entrepreneur's face, and I'm not sure, Jim, if it's appreciation, if it's awe, but when they see and they feel this worked and I'm on my own and I'm no longer crawling, I'm walking, I'm going to start running, there is a sense of satisfaction you get from that that is not easy to describe in English or in Spanish. Okay? And if that's not important to you, that's okay. Because the money, you got the money already, maybe you don't care who's happy. But it happens. And so I'm going to end so I can take a couple questions. Back to the Rubik's Cube. There are a lot of pieces that have to happen. I want them to happen for you. Not because I have a deep affiliation with the university, but because everything I touch, I want to be successful with. And I'm very much involved with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame has and should have a relationship with this university. And I want to leverage that to the hilt. So you could never say you took a Thursday morning and wasted your time with me. Okay? So this has to happen. Okay? It should happen. And you can call on me, and I know Jim, to help you make it happen. So thank you, but I would like to have questions for Jim or me if you wouldn't mind. But thank you very, very much. Are there any questions that you'd like to address to me? Yes, I need the translation.
Do you mind if I do the question in English?
Oh, no, good. Oh, great.
First off, maybe you need to scale your examples down to Chilean reality, and where like a 15th of the population of the US, so if you did it with $40,000 instead of $500,000, it would probably go down easier with us. If Antonio calls me tomorrow and says, will you support me on a $500,000 project? The answer is no right away.
For me too, by the way.
I was going to ask you more seriously if you could comment on the structure of Irish Angels. Somebody mentioned you started out with 10 members. What is the sort of minimum number you need for critical mass for a network like this to be able to function? And what is the type of angel or investors you're looking for to be a part of the network? Is there a question of affiliation with the university? I gathered from what you've said before that there isn't a question of location, which I often hear about in other angel networks, being no more than 200 miles away from home and things like that. Experience, what is your threshold in terms of experience, so on.
Okay, good question. I'll take a start, and Jim, make sure you join me. Come on up here so they can throw darts at you too. First of all, what I'll do is I'll pull this off my tie so both of us can benefit from it when we need to. First of all, in terms of the size of the investment, that just happened to be the case, and I didn't mean for that to be insensitive, because the investment can be $10,000. But I would also suggest to you that the most important part of the investment, the most important because money is important, but an important part of the investment is what you're making right now, having you sitting in that chair, because you're investing your time. And there's real value in that as well. Even if you come and sign up to the Angel Network and you don't invest at all in Notre Dame, of those 275, there are a lot of people who don't invest. Okay? So please take that to the table. In terms of critical mass, clearly the larger it becomes to a point, the better it is. But I would say, Jim, this is at the top of the mind number, I would say if you, to start off, if we had 3 to 5 people really committed to this, okay, we can end up with one deal, one concept, and it will start to form, and you can build from there. And I mentioned yesterday in a class that, in the second slide, by the way, you have to have some patience. You just need to work this over time. Would you say, would you agree with that?
Let me add just a few more things. We started with 10 because we had one deal. And that's all we had. We were a brand new center. We had one deal. But as a center, we realized that we had to have a successful deal to get credibility in entrepreneurship at the university. And so we called the right 10 investors that might be interested in this deal, and the Irish Angel Network was born. Now let me talk about investors just a little bit. There are some investors that enjoy what we call early round, seed round funding. This is the most risky part of investing. These are guys that have raw science. They may not even have a prototype. They don't even have a product. It's all they have is an idea. That's the riskiest type of investment. And some investors are just fine with that. There are some investors that want second round investment, where you have a prototype and you've just begun to go into the market. Some investors are only interested in very mature investment. And we need to have a portfolio of investors that cover the whole range of types of investment. In addition to that, at a university, we can have deals that come in every industry, and some industries that haven't even been created yet. Strange deals come to the university. I have seen things that you can't imagine. Let me give you an example. I had one deal that came, and it was a biology student who said, I'm sorry, who said, I've learned that human hair can keep bugs, insects away. So what I'm going to do is go to all of the barber shops and gather up human hair, package it, and sell it, and people will spread it in their gardens. What a deal! You know, I mean, this isn't the kind of deal that's good for every angel. We need to have a big enough group that we have angels that will give that kind of a deal a fair test. High technology in every sector, a fair test. Service industries, a fair test. Now, in answer to your question, how are we structured? I can tell you a vision of the future. We now have 275 angels, and we've become sophisticated enough that we know that there are some angels that are interested in deals that will come out of engineering. And we've begun to put together, within the Irish Angel Network, a group focused on engineering. We have a group that's interested in social sciences, a group interested in social sciences. Of our Irish angels, let me give you a little bit of a statistic. Out of the 275 angels, about 100 are interested in investment. We have 175 that are only interested in helping and mentoring and working with the entrepreneur to get their deal to life, to bring it to life. Currently, right now, and it's very, very hard to tell an exact number, but last time we did any kind of analysis on the amount invested in the Irish Angel Network, I can tell you right now it's about $70 million that have been invested. And some of these deals might be as small as $2,000. Some of these deals are a few million more than that. But it just depends on the deal. Good question on size, too. There's a major university on the East Coast, and I'm not going to give you its name, but it's pretty close to Washington, D.C. I talked to they have an angel network. And I said, how big's your angel network? And the woman in charge says, 12. That's all I can possibly manage is 12. And I says, well, how do you manage them? She says, I pretty well adopt them, and I live with them, and we work every aspect of every deal together. That's not what we do. We are educators. We're the university. Tim is the market. I need Tim, but I don't need to be married to Tim. So for me, size, you just need, there's a requisite variety that I must have for any deal that might enter my office. That's a long answer to a very short question.
I just want to add one thing too, because he did touch on one thing.